We are going to have a look at algebra. We're going to start looking at algebra. We're going to start by expanding brackets and factorising. So expanding brackets just means that we need to multiply everything outside the bracket by everything inside the bracket. So this question here, what we need to do is 4 times a and 4 times 9. That's going to give us 4 times a is 4a and 4 times 9 is 36. So this one we will do 7 times 3t and then 7 times negative 4. So 7 times 3t will give us 21t and 7 times negative 4 will give us negative 28. We can also do this with 2 sets of brackets, 3 sets of brackets, however many you want, but we just do each bracket separately. So we're going to do 5x times 4x and 5x times 2. So that will give us 20x squared. So the 5 times the 4 gives us 20. And then x times x is x squared. And then 5x times 2 is 10x. Then we just move on to the second bracket. So we're going to do 3 times 3 and 3 times negative 7x. So the 3 and the 3 will give us 9. And then the 3 and negative 7x is negative 21x. And then the final thing we have to do is simplify. We need to collect up our like terms here to get a final answer. So our final answer would be this, because 20x squared has to stay on its own. No other parts have squared on, so that just stays as it is. But we have plus 10x and negative 21x. So we can put these things together. So plus 10, take away 21 will give us negative 11. So we must make sure we're putting a negative here with the 11x's. And then 9 just stays on its own. Factorising then, this is sort of the opposite of expanding. We're going to go back the other way. We need to put back in the brackets. So if we have 12a plus 20, we need to think about the factors of 12 and 20. So the times tables that 12 and 20 are in. So they are both in the 2 times table, but we want the highest common factor so that we can fully factorise our answer. So that would be 4. They are both in the 4 times table. So 4 goes outside the bracket over here. And then we say, well, what do we need to times 4 by to get us back to this 12a? So 4 times 3 is 12, and then obviously we need the a, and then 4 times 5 would be 20. So another one, 18y squared minus 36y. Again, we want the factors, the highest common factor of 18 and 36. But this time we also have y common in both parts. So there's a y here and a y here. So the common factor and the common letter will go outside the bracket. So 6y outside the bracket. And then see how we get back to this. So 6y times 3y would give us 18y squared. And 6y times negative 6 will give us negative 36y. And one that's a little bit longer here. Again, we just do the same thing. Factors of all 3 numbers. But this time, although we have letters with each part, we don't have a common letter throughout. So there's R on the first bit and R in the middle, but there's no R at the end. Same with the S. There's an S on the end and an S at the start, but there's no S in the middle. So no letters outside the bracket, just the common factor of 5. And then 5 times 6 RS will bring us back to 30 RS. 5 times 4r squared will get us back to our 20r squared. And 5 times negative 9s will get us back to negative 45s. And then the other thing we're going to have a quick look at is substitution. So substitution, we just swap the letter for the value we are given. So in this first question, we're told that a is 2, and we have to work out 2a. So this means we need to do 2 multiplied by a, and we know that a is 2. So we're just doing 2 times 2 to give us an answer of 4. And then here we've got x is 5 and y is 7. and we want to do 5y minus 2x. So we're going to have to do 5 times 7 because y is 7, and 2 times 5 because x is 5. And then that will give us 35, take away 10. We must make sure we keep these in order. So we have to put the answer to this part first, otherwise we could end up with a different answer. That will give us an answer of 25. We often use substitution with different formula. So here is a formula to convert between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and the formula is F equals 1.8C plus 32. So we need to work out the value of F when C is 10. So we just take the formula and we substitute 10 in place of C. So C was here. I've just changed that to times 10 because that is what we are told C is. Then we do things in order. So 1.8 times 10 will give me 18. Put this plus 32 back on the end. And then for a final answer, we just need to add the two together. So F would be worth 50. And then we can also be given the value of F. So we need to find C. So again, I've just swapped 41 for F. It's just gone in place of F and the rest is the same. So this one's a little bit more difficult. This one we're going to have to rearrange so that C will become the subject. We need it to end up saying C equals something. So the first thing that's in our way of C being on its own is this 32 here. So we need to get this back to 0. So if I've got 32 and I need to get to 0, well, I need to take away 32. And whatever I do to this side, I must do to this side. So that's going to leave me with 9. 41 take away 32 leaves me with 9. And then 32 take away 32 leaves me with nothing here. And just left with the 1.8C. And then the final thing to have C on its own is we need to get rid of this 1.8. We know that whatever C is, we're multiplying by. So 1.8 times C gives us 9. So we need to do the inverse thing. We need to divide by 1.8 to find what we're missing. So that will give us 5. 1.8 times 5 would give us 9. Our task this week. So Key Stage 3, you've got some questions in your guide, as have Key Stage 4. And then there's some links to some extra things. And of course, exam style questions for all of the different topics that we have looked at.